Okay. Good evening again. Nice to see you again. Isn't it Sunday? Isn't it Sunday?
I slept all day Saturday.
And Sunday?
Sunday were you? Huh?
All day Saturday.
Or Sunday?
Sunday I had to go out.
Yeah, sorry. It's next Sunday. Good morning, good evening, everyone. Elisa.
Good evening.
Atlas,
Good evening.
good evening.
Nice to
Good evening. Pomodele. Hi, Karen. Hi, Julie. Okay. Wonderful. I'm going to learn meditation, okay? But make sure not sleep. 네, 나도 가상기. 저러고 담보죠. 나 이거 왜 셈세지? 수준만도 셈대 가와 나 이거로 그래. 근데 뭐 대도 말했어. 셈대 가와 난 잠으로 그래서 나버려.
So the verse that we went through last time, there's a wavering mind. It says the wavering mind. So wavering mind is the mind that doesn't sit in one place. It goes around all over the places.
아다 나 지금 앞에 까망아 세래야. 수수 셈가라 근데 셈대 가와 로도. 셈 먼저 탑시에 계시면 셈라 비 때문에 지금 내가 까망아 세.
So for about 5 minutes now, I'm going to just watch your mind. Not try to hold it in one place, but just watch it and see where it's going, what is it doing, what is it thinking about, and where it's going. So just watch your mind for about 5 minutes.
제가 지금 댄다칠 내가 말했어. 다 이거래. 이거사때 누가 막 야가 요 말했어 내가.
And then you will see that it is not going to sit in one place. It keeps wavering. It keeps going around and around, but and it keeps going in places, right? So the place it goes to is not good place, and it's always a bad place it goes to.
그러나 너무 제사가 열려요 그랬어.
So a bad place means like the place the mind that causes the mind to generate the negative minds, like the affliction minds.
네가 영의 셈달라야 다 씨발 두요래.
So afflictive minds, right? So so these 6 different kinds of minds that wavers around.
근데 그 바나 원시행하고 그게 돼 요와 열려 숙체요나 근데 이시 대주를 반로셔.
And so depending on which of these the 5 senses that it becomes stronger, then the mental consciousness will just follow with that.
뒤절로라 아니 남도 줬다지 아니 다 대자신도 등록 공부도 용어도 제한 거래.
And then behind that, then there's this misconception that exaggerates the things that's seen, heard, or smell, and so forth. And then from there, then comes the attachment and so forth. So then other 6 root delusions.
제가 되게 쇼로까지 대나는 늘 인사리 삼아만 맞지. 오늘 그때 레드 와서 소소치 노와이 탭터와이나 다시 담아도 세면 좋아도 그래.
And so reading that verse, not just thinking, oh, that's how it must be, not like just thinking like that, but just by contemplating on that again and again for a long time, when you really come to understand, yes, this is how it really is, then that will really change your mind.
Okay, 5 minutes, like about 5 minutes. Okay, make sure not sleeping. Make sure you watch your mind. Not try to stop. Not try to look at something. Just how they go. Okay, everyone good? Are you guys moving? Like my iPad's like everyone just stop that. Okay. No. Okay. How's it?
I didn't think of anything at all.
Huh? You just blunt? There's something wrong, maybe. You have to go hospital. What do you thought? What thoughts come?
Nothing. I just thought of the air going in and out of my nose. And since I'm so sleepy, I'm not, you know what I mean? Usually my mind's always think like something's always popping in now. Like,
You go to your home, you might go to everywhere. You come here, you fall sleepy. Like that?
oh, no. Well, some things I have chores to do with stuff.
How's it? How's it? Man go to everywhere? You try to concentration or just watch? That, how many different places go? Remember? He said he doesn't go.
The most I had was a flash of a beach scene. That was it.
How about you guys? I think we need to check the mark to emergency room. It's
Do
mental.
an MRI.
How many different places you go, you guys mind?
All of
Hundreds.
them. Yeah,
Is that 10, 20?
every
Yep.
place, all of them.
Wow. Mine was hiding.
Hiding?
thought-
That's good.
They were hiding.
Okay. 다 당하고 검증되는데 다 지나도 된다. It is like that. Therefore, if the text says, if you don't, control or watch your mind, become dangerous. You need to watch like baby, like 1 week baby. The parents have to have to take care, right? Like that. Then all your very important things like that. You don't watch very or control or you take care of your mind, then it becomes dangerous, you can destroy for everything. Right? Okay, now try to concentration. Okay? Concentration, meditation, any maybe you can go back. The Nijero Gombaina. And this was like Kadi Chip and the Semshicum, Tate, Kadina Chip, Kaji Tinga Pache, and it do what the Mayunas, some Tauda.
And so now let's say you are meditating on compassion, right? So compassion on somebody that you feel close with, and wishing that person to be free from suffering, right? And wishing that person to not have any kind of obstacles or difficulties in life, right? So just thinking on that, just may that person not have. So thinking that may that person be happy, may that person be free from suffering, may that person be free from all the obstacles, like that. So just keep your mind on that thought. And don't let it go to other places, just on that thought. And so that's meditating on compassion.
아니, 가지 쌤 좋아해나? 저도 나 테마치 라서 니 라서 숨 라서 수사고지.
And so, while trying to focus on that thought, if you see your mind going around, then just keep the count on that. So how many times did you go away from that object? Or you went away once, and then you're trying to bring it back, and then you went away again. So count that, how many times your mind went away from that object.
Okay? This is, how the science thinking of put the water here to here, put back, the implication. Exactly, we need to also do like exercise our mind. You go to the science, the place to kids study science, some things, what's that? Laboratory. They put some glass, put here, and put back, put here, put back, put back. Because they also checking, how they work. Exactly, we need to exercise our mind like that. Okay? Good, ready? Okay, don't fall asleep, okay? Okay, everyone, yeah. Okay. What's Mr. Mark?
What did I think of?
How many times you lose the object? You didn't lose.
Not much, but I didn't.
He's really.
I thought of a person, and then I thought of their problems. Then I thought the problems are intractable. If they, you know what I mean. But yeah, it was pretty easy.
Really easy.
I didn't feel anything, but I thought of it.
No, if you don't feel that shows you're not really doing. Really. Like with meditation like that, something to energy. We cannot like experience to war. We need to something feeling. Something you don't. Never should be a sick. 땀들었나? 보라 배우는 저 말을 올려갔다. 야 땀이야 땀도가. 양는 믹들은 동안 용도 와.
So you get moved, or you get emotional, when you hear something, like that makes you eventually like want to cry because you go through so much suffering, you can't stand. It moves you and makes you very emotional like that. So you have to get the kind of feeling, so that you can't stand there suffering at all. So that you want them to be free from their suffering. So wonder, I wish they can be free from their suffering, and I wish they didn't have to face this kind of suffering like that.
This happened, right? Can you see some people like this?
Depends on my mood.
Yeah. No, even it's not only your mood. There's really someone like pushed like that. Right? Even your mood's very good. Some talk about 걔들은 돼도 와가지. 가지 된지.
이제 체중을 알아서 그렇습니다.
제가야.
농화 체중을 얻다는 이제 체중을 거라.
Yeah, that's good. 근데 이제는 동안 치료할 때는 이제 슉 가서 치워다 비싸면 이제 와로 돈.
So of course, if you don't think about the big suffering, unbearable suffering, then of course you will not get that much of emotional, right? If you just think of a small problem, oh, that's okay, like that, Although you wish, that person to be free from, even though that's a very small problem, but that's still compassion, right? But then you don't get much, feeling or emotion. You don't become emotional like that. But when you think about the unbearable suffering, you want them to be free from that suffering, and then you get really emotional.
아, 간다르다 오케이. Now we're going to take okay. 딱 쇼로 근지 짠이 되게 간지가 샘때 따보자고 그래. 샘때 야고 송고 그래서 마소와이나 아니 내 자체다 뜨무고 시간한테 제네 아니 다 소소 대기메 와서라 그랬어. 와서 송으로 와.
And so then the verse number 22, is saying that you have to protect your mind, right? So your destructive mind or wavering mind. If you don't protect that mind, or in other words, don't control that mind, then and it will go after the delusions, and then that will create all the problems.
Okay. 다 되네 쇼로 근지 짝슴 되게 가졌나. 다 역가와라 요한도 그래. 근데 요사가 되게 제 가로 근데 되게 얘는 뛰어나 얘는 가려서 다 떼서 그래. 자, 역가와 요거래. 요사가 여기 제주로 가려요 그래서.
And then in the verse 23, it says, what kind of objects does it, waver to, would move to or go to, right? And then when it goes to certain kind of objects, what kind of advantages and disadvantages are there?
가나 안에 넓게라 요로 그래서.
And it will move towards the desired objects.
예. 그래서 아니 스카르다 시바카리 나가지 소소 뇌하게 있으면 만두가 요거 말어 와.
So it will move towards the desired object, right? Would it move to the undesired object? Only to the desired object.
다 된리게 예사가 열때를 제주갔나 아니 코나 안보 쇼가나 대화도 위에다 풀라 간지 펜도 말해서 풍으로 그래서.
And so that kind of object, the desired object that it goes to, or it wavers to, or it goes to, is usually like, it feels like, oh, it's very nice. You see the advantages, right? You feel like there's advantage in going to that object. And then you feel like, oh, this is really good. But then afterwards, then it brings the disadvantages. So it brings the problems to you.
내바 남도 폼바째 왔대. 자비 옴보 아니 꿈이 되다서 대답반지 대여 자도기 구비 조란지 된다 징스.
So then it reads here, So the Buddha said that objects of the senses lead to ruin and should be discarded like kimpaka fruit. Their iron chains bind those in the world to the prison of cyclic existence.
오케이. 다 안에 키 금바세 유다다 저도 하고 나하고 근데가 이 시절 줄로 다나 비심도 거여지 사반에 도경이들이 시주에서 와.
So and then like it says, that should be discarded like a kimpara because of kimpaka, kimpaka fruit. I mean, I don't know exactly what it means, but according to the description or the explain the commentary, it says like there's a kind of fruit that looks very delicious, but then when you eat it, it's very unpleasant or poisonous like that.
제가 든리기 신데 저한테 사와였나? 아니 다 소소로 내가 가니 속얘기니까 대대 대나지래스. 다 대나지가 뇌벽에 이해라야 야주짐 아니 소소 마소 와였나? 아니 대가 짜도고 저네 고비 쏘라라. 양네 양다 진샤가 다샤가래스.
And so this fruit, it tastes sweet, but then when you eat it, but it is a poisonous, and it tastes sweet, but when you eat it, then because it's poisonous, then it will kill you, just like that, or cause you suffering. So just like that, if you don't protect your mind and then go after the desired objects, then they will it's called the chain. It's called like those desired objects like the chain. And then that binds you or that ties you in the prison of the cyclic existence.
제가 특히 대나드는 걸 해도 돼.
Is that the meaning of the word like that?
What do you think?
Meaning of the verse?
Yeah. Like that? Are you sure? So ndobe yela yewana kanga ani ta nanzo ta ombo nga ta ombo chu shibatu yesa ye kanga kaji pongo jero reta pema doji nyare.
So you're saying that all these the desired object that our mind, our consciousness, right, the sixth consciousness goes towards, will lead to the ruin.
Yes.
So none of them are good. They all cause problem.
nanzo 밑에 찌야 된다. 찌네 타다 못해 요요로. 펜토고 말아.
So we are always driven towards those objects from the time we were born until now, right? So we never had anything good.
대매와나는 가서 그게 많이 차로다. 수다트로지 얘도 매와이나? 아니 다 가고. 레번도 가면 그런 거 야만치. 대나매와 차로 말해.
그 주변에.
될 마주와이나? 마주와는 직전에 차도 말아. 근데 내가
So if you didn't follow those desired objects, right, then you will not have anything in this world, right? Everything you have in this world, like the house, the road,
Yeah.
All the facilities, the dream we think, like a house and all these things, because we follow those objects, right? Those desired objects. Therefore, we have it. If we didn't follow those desired objects, then we wouldn't have any of these things, right?
제가 직전에 펜도 개요 말이다.
So there will be nothing that nothing that's useful, right? Everything's ruined.
제가 저도 가서 뒤트때 나 삼 달에 된다 대용 거래시.
So this is why Geshe told you to spend some time concentrating on this.
가다 너베가 예텔라 파 주셔와이나 네가 가디는 폰을 해. 그럼 폰배나지 째대 그랬어. 너베.
So this is what he's saying here, right? The Buddha said the object of sense leads to ruin. So if you follow those object of desires, then it will only bring you this, disadvantages.
제가 주다 저로를 잡다 저도 데려와. 또 던지고 사망하는 본거예요.
And so our desire objects are the objects of our senses, right? Like the sound, the taste. So all these leads to ruin.
Yes, because we press them.
저는 남들라 캠펜도 잘라줘요 말이다.
So then there's nothing that's useful in this world. Huh?
Doesn't mean it's not useful, but
Okay.
when you follow the objects of desire, then attachment arises and then keeps you in samsara. But it doesn't mean that the things wouldn't be useful because you still, you would need to keep your body warm. If you're living here in the wintertime, your body would die. You would still need to keep it warm. But if you didn't do it from desire, you would just do it because it was practical.
Okay. What do you think? What do you think?
I have a very different.
What do you different?
So
And
notice he
different-
said object.
Now you have to, first you have to, don't go beyond this verse, okay? You
No.
you need to read the verse, then you have to explain that.
Well, all right.
What verse is that?
Object of desire, and I won't say anything else, just object of desire. So it's the objects that it's bad, not the desire, because you're dependent.
Be careful.
Like, let's say, why do you do anything in life? It makes you feel good, right? Do you like say, oh, I want to stick my hand in fire to get burned? No, because it doesn't feel good. But anything you do, everything you do for one single reason, because it makes you feel good, or you wouldn't do it. So if you could separate the object from that end state, the feeling good,
Okay,
the
okay.
pleasure, the desire, the rapture,
What?
bliss.
So which is good and which is bad? The desire or the object?
Having to rely on an object.
You're saying the object is bad, the desire is good.
Because you always got to get a bigger and bigger object,
How
or more and more of it.
how about the verse 22nd, the fourth one? How about you guys? Hey, you guys any different ideas? What you
Well, I
guys think?
just said blow away the object. Why would I think about inheriting
The
this?
desire.
Hey, Angie, are you there? Hey, Michael, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with having desire, like to say to your car or to your television set, as long as you're not attached to it, correct?
Same thing.
Well, no, because you need a car to get around. But it doesn't mean you have to attach
Television
it.
the word. The word, the machine digors.
Yeah, I mean,
The word is machine digors.
And then the way the ring up.
But in this text, it is saying that it is not okay to have desire, right?
Correct.
We need to go the text, then we need to understand, try to find something between there, okay? But what you say the desire is good or the object is good? You have to
Desire
decide.
is good.
Okay, desire is good. Okay, then what
The bliss is good.
okay, that's good, that's good. Now that's enough. Can you read the verse 22nd?
23 or 22?
22nd.
22.
First we say, you always think that woman is a
What happens if you don't protect your open mind?
Yeah. That means desire, okay? Desire mind. If you don't protect your desire mind, what happens? Can you read?
Renounce sensory pleasures, for they are like the poisonous snake's weapons, enemies, and fire.
You,
But if
you
that
believe
were
that?
true, then why would you study Buddhism? Because
Therefore,
you would have a
therefore-
desire to become enlightened. So if desire is bad, why you would have no desire to do anything? You just sit there like a slain lump.
Okay, then this true or not?
It's true.
It's true in one context, but it's not complete.
Okay, now other example. I have other example. You have how many shirts you have?
How many shirts?
Enough.
He said 75.
It's okay. No, you don't need more. Okay, you can use only 10. If
That's
you
impression. No, we can't.
if you use okay, you can 20 or that. Then you can do 14. Okay, you can do 14. Or the other of someone come to kuma kawan che thogan lesser.
If they were stolen or lost, would you feel bad? Would you feel sad?
Yeah, and that's what proves my point, because it's an object.
This,
If I create
no,
a certain-
you don't need that object. Not necessary.
that's my point. The object is bad, the pleasure is good, because you're a slave to the object. You don't need an object. In other words, why run a race? You can go right to the finish line. You know what I'm saying? Like everything you do, you rely on an object, right? To feel good.
Okay,
A
then
new car, a big house, beautiful wife, whatever it is, right? But you're always a beggar, because why you do that is because of the way it makes you feel. You can cut out all the object and recreate that state in your own mind as self-mastery, rather than begging on objects that can be stolen, can break, Maybe you can't afford, you know what I mean?
Okay. If you break your order in the object, do you have any sufferings or difficult time you don't get the object?
Only if you rely on the object.
A lot of things, what we have, we don't, you know.
Because you always
Making.
want more. You want a bigger hit.
Therefore, this is the problem. What we have, we don't really, you know, desire. We already have that. We're looking for something not belong for us.
Exactly. It's like attachment to the feeling, not the object.
I'm saying that you don't have to be attached to the feeling either, but you have to do something with your mind. I mean, seriously, like if you were saying, well, Buddhism was going to make you have no desire, you'd have nobody wanting to adhere to. You'd have like 0 followers, right? So, I mean, it's not even. It's in.
Okay, then okay. This text is not correct.
It's.
I'm serious.
Well, one text can say one thing, and then another text can say another.
Which text says desire is good? Which text says? Which master says desire is good? Yeah.
And what's your
Good.
source for the ones that say?
You say you have 300.
Conference full of it.
You
There's
say
1,000.
you say you have like 300 books, right? Okay, which master? What book says desire is good? You give just one. The object's bad, but desire is good. Which book say?
Well, then isn't. Well, the Buddhist, like the whole point.
No, Buddhism never said desire.
Emptiness is bliss, so you have the desire to achieve bliss, no? Or why else are you doing it?
The emptiness, the desire, and what we have the desire here, that's totally different.
The definition from a Sangha in a compendium of knowledge says that attachment is the mental factor that perceives a contaminated thing to be attractive by way of its own entity and thereupon seeks it.
Thank you. Thing, outside of yourself, object, thing, synonymous.
But inside yourself,
You keep saying that,
But
it's external.
but you can have internal objects too, mental objects. No,
Don't you have to?
that's an object.
But attachment to the Buddhist symbol when it comes to religion is
진짜 너 봐라.
a huge pitfall.
그것은 그것에 그것도 뭐야 못 살거든.
되게 너무 맞죠. 너무 야도라고 하는. 되게
You
너무
you have a desire, right? So desire to help somebody, and desire to harm somebody. You can have desire, both kind of desire, right? So here we're not talking about the desire to help somebody. We're talking about the desire to harm somebody, right? So that desire is good or bad.
Well, it's a non-virtuous object.
가는 desire.
Of course.
See, I mean, in English, right? So when we talk about the desire, it's, in Tibetan, we're more relating it to attachment. So desire means attachment.
If
So
you're
which
an
is-
emptiness, then you should have no attachment. You should just have
which is bad,
pure
right?
awareness and.
He doesn't believe the text.
Which is bad, right? So the
That's why they
attachment.
say emptiness and bliss.
No, don't.
This is advice to the king, who's not an Arya.
But we're going in that way. So
But he's asking about the verse, the advice to the king here.
No. This is what you have to comprehend. 너무 한가로 도와라고 말다. 너무 째용하게 너무 지치는데 뭐 들어야고 말이지.
See, we're not talking about every kind of desire, right? So we're talking about the desire that develops delusion in your mind. Okay, that's the difference. Yeah, that's exactly.
You have to
So
understand
that kind of desire. That's what we're talking about here.
Otherwise, we don't say, oh, even you wish to,
Achieve enlightenment.
achieve enlightenment. This is also desire. But that's not good. That's
That's not what we're talking
not
about.
what we talk about. Okay? They may not think that you know something.
See, here, this is talking about the desire or wish in a mind that brings delusions in your mind, and delusion that causes you to engage in the wrong actions, and then the wrong action that brings you suffering. So those kind of desire.
Okay, how about you guys? Can you guys, someone said something? How about Kara, Devra? Now, if you have some thoughts, you can say also, you can get more ideas. Like here, the one guy, he very stoned a bit. Yes, Kara?
Is it because, how to say, follow the sense, okay, because we're not talking about desires from wisdom or compassion or anything, we're talking about desire from following senses that the uncontrolled mind will chase them, like wanting to keep them? Maybe is it because, oh, like the physical senses are just insubstantial and kind of empty, so trying to keep them one way makes you, is it because of that that's causing the, I don't know, suffering?
먼저 가서 내가 저기 가서 공복이 율라 요와 인자 나는 되게 되는 거죠. 일단 공복치가 알았어.
야, 오모요. 아니 내차 셰다 뜨무 공중 아자 제사기 예라 요와는 방식 모르겠어.
Yeah, so the object of this sense here is talking about the object that creates, that makes the mind to develop attachment, anger, jealousy, envy, and so forth, So that kind of object. So if you let your mind go towards those objects, then that will bring disasters or ruins.
What do you think?
Well, yeah, I definitely think
Yes,
that, because if you can't renounce, you would never be able to develop a sincere renunciation if you couldn't give up the objects of
Is yes or not?
that is the belief that the
Yeah.
verse is correct. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, our
Text is completely correct.
okay, complete clean and all the money to tell us you more.
So then that means there's nothing in this world that is useful.
I don't think you is a care zuda to rejo. Tam nyanda kan ye yo is a tero.
Well,
Yes, sir.
So ye for you to say.
So what we're working towards, right? The object that we're working towards, right? Is all the desired objects, right? The good look and a good reputation or fame, good name, and so forth, right?
So do we don't need that?
Do we need that?
in the short term, to it's good to have certain qualities in future lives, like people, like they trust your word, you have power, you have resources, you have things like that, but you don't pursue them with
But
attachment for the objects. You realize,
but that they can walk, they can benefit.
pardon?
If that they can benefit. Today is a pentodo.
They can benefit. Yeah.
Yeah, they can benefit.
And whom do?
They benefit, so it doesn't ruin, right?
Is it
So,
a little
but-
bit like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt, sorry.
Yeah, Julie, please go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, I didn't realize Damsha was talking. I was gonna say, is it like, I've been listening to what everybody's saying and what you've been saying, and it sounds a little bit like getting clean from drugs, right? Where like you have to fully just be like no, and separate yourself from it for a while, because it's like, at least in my experience with some people I've seen, it's like, well, I've been away from it for like, I can just do a little bit, right? Like it's okay to have a little bit of desire for certain things and I can handle that. But once you let your mind go towards the desired object, like once you do take a bump of whatever your drug of choice is, you go off the rails again. You think that you can handle the little bit of letting your mind go towards it or away from it, but that's just ego, and you should just not at all.
가만히 여다 태한테 저러 데스 통나다 창을로 창을 더 봐줘라 창을 더 봐줘야지 다 데스 통나다 거 소소 다 라마 쓰잖아 다 소소 컨트롤 쳐도라 소소 다 송도라 얘나 다 가서 거라 라시스부터 너무 통과하는데 그라 소소 지금 송도 말았어요.
Yeah, that's true. And the rest is about one that Suzuka take it that Tamashin, the photo.
So yeah, if you take it too much, if you have very strong desire, like when you're drinking alcohol, if you drink to the limit, maybe just a sip or two, maybe it doesn't cause you so much harm, but you still have the desire for that, right? So, but you control it so it doesn't ruin you. But if you keep on drinking until you get drunk, and then you get out of control, and then you do all the bad things through that, and that ruins you, right?
But even in a small amount, in that verse in the three principal aspects of the path, where Lama Tsongkhapa says, when not even an instant of admiration for the prosperities of cyclic existence arise, not even an instant of desire for the objects of sense arise. And when the thought of being a knight, renunciation or liberation occurs, that's renunciation. So you couldn't generate renunciation even if you had just a little desire like that. Right?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is that's in my analogy to the drugs, right? Is like a person who is addicted to drugs thinks that they can be like, oh, I'll only have a little bit. But they're wrong because they're going to do it and then they're going to go off the rails. There is no such thing as just a little bit. I only want to do it and stop here, which is why it's best to separate yourself entirely from it. That's the whole analogy I'm working towards. Yes.
most of the drugs that you want.
Yeah.
Drugs. So that's what take a land, England to go, and that's when they take a mountain, the mountain.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
That's
Yeah, Andrew?
Oh, what I was curious about is, so it's not it's your intention with the object. It's your intention behind the object. Like if you have a selfish intention, like I want to possess the object, this object is like you get attached, that there's a permanence to the object when there is no permanence to that object, and you expect it to make you happy when in reality it's just making you more attached. It's just increasing desire. So my question is then like is it just like a matter of intention? Like for example, being attached to reputation is bad because if you're doing good works just to look good, that is bad because you're not doing it out of wanting to do good, wanting to help others. You're increasing your reputation only for selfish reasons. But then my question is, you could have the opposite where you're building wealth or you're doing reputation not because of a selfish desire, but because it will help you become, like, the more powerful you are, the more powerful you are to help beings. Just like we're trying to become bodhisattvas, because in our unenlightened states, we are limited in our help, whereas if we become bodhisattvas, like aspire for that, we are able to help a lot more.
그 당아도 담다 년달다 차바이나 소소 단다를 차바이나 되는 야고 말해서 아니 민 팬도 제가 주는데 다들 노고들 여러 삼바이나 된 자고 말아 가서 도자 말아서 그래. 왜냐 소소녀라 소소 담그 그라치 못 차바이나 아니 미스서 연결하스 냐바이나 되는 소소가 되는 마음 팬도 제도가 그냥 장주스만 하지 장주스 받아서 그래서 그라치 뭐여서 다 미서 콘도 연결하스 팬도 좀 제도라스.
Okay, that's good. That's good point. Good. Okay, Lisa, as well, Lisa, raise your hand. Are you there, Lisa?
Hello, I just wanted to say that Andrew had his hand up for a long time waiting to ask a question. But while I'm here, can't we, what about if we're attached to the notion of enlightenment and that creates further delusion? Can't you attach to those kind of spiritual things like meditation and mantra reciting, and then somehow when, I think it's kind of like in Christianity, if some people are praying for something and the result doesn't come out how they want, then they get disappointed or mad or upset. I would think it would be the same way if you're trying to attain enlightenment, or you're trying to eliminate only your own suffering and not the sufferings of all beings.
That's all that.
그래서 그도 더 믿어 저기 가서 수상만 저기 도바도에치도 되는다 가서디 제바지 에나데 차바지 거도 말아서 차바세데 도바 소소 단도도에치도 차바차바나 내가 막변에 상계에치도 되는 차바차바데 리그레스
아니 semchen 탐족에다 상지에서 다 잡아서 거나까지 너가 진짜 semchen 제가 평양에 쳐다 개의 샤발에 잡아이나 아니 따디 콘티 가디 슈치나고 야야 되게 어려서.
So if you are attached to the good thing, then it's okay. If that brings benefit to others, Like if you are attached to, to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of others, and then that's good, So more you have, better it is for that kind of things.
아니 대내 양원에다 잡아 슈침받고 야야 로좀 토르토르 원에게 잡아 누가 내가 잘 그래.
And so, as you have more and more attachment towards the good things, then when when you become better and better on that, then the attachment to the bad things will become less and less.
Okay, that is okay. Now we not talk too much. Then dig tend to sort of one each na. the Bob Tamu Galapsong. I'm the one who is Zuda to get to go to us. They made them drink Marwa. They ought to pay more to your
So, anyway, so what this talking is about, like Bob mentioned earlier, about like, having the things in this world, like the heat, the house, all these things, even though we achieved that because we had a desire for it, right? So we had our senses, wanted that, and then we build it, and then but that brings benefit to us, and so without these things, we can be dead like that, right? So, like, if you didn't have the desire to develop the country, right, to bring prosperity in the country, then the country will be all poor, right?
So
and so you need to have that, right? So you need to have those desire, for the good look, for the good taste, good smell, and good reputation, everything, right?
남배가 성도한테 체리 주보체 송거만 남배 성도 깨와시마 펜체라 남상 당겨로 왔어.
So when we're talking about that desire, we're not only talking about this life. And so in Buddhism, we're talking about many future lives, in many lives, like in the futures.
제가 아니 두 지점단 거라야 tunzogo 아니 팽그레 받나 어떻게 팽을 말해서 지금 펜젤 펜다 깔리 카오레스 다야 펜실 ችን 메시보다 말와.
So these things, that good house, right, the heat and all these things, it helps, like, of course, definitely it helps this time in the winter, but does it help in the future life? You can't say really it helps. Maybe it might help.
그나가도 빼주고 강하면 야 주도발라 되지 용도 돼 고도.
So, like, the economy, problem, right? So if we don't have wealth, then that can also cause, if you don't have wealth, that can cause cause obstacle in your Dharma practice as well, right?
디스했던 거 같다. 니마 배도와다 다 미상 그러니까 저 나와는 정해 말아. 그거 가고 말아. 사상요 사패 말 정해 대패 말아.
So like if you want to practice Dharma, you need to survive, right? So you need to find a food. Like in Tibet, if you practice Dharma, the food will just come to you, Or, you can find a food anywhere. You can just go around and beg and then go back and then do your practice. And that's because there are plenty of people who give, and they might even find, look for people who are doing practice, to go and find them and then feed them, and support them in that way, right? But in this country, you don't have that. Right? People don't go out and give, and then or even people who wants to have food will not dare to eat the food, right, that other people give. So, what kind of food it may be? Does it have this or that, and allergy, and all these things, right? So you don't know what kind of food they have. So you don't dare to eat, and then they don't dare to give you, so because they might think that, if you give the food and then they become sick, then they might sue you, like that. So there's this kind of threats all the time. So there's no good facilities to practice Dharma.
답배잖아 단나가도 인터넷으로 나가도 뭐 영어도 다 인터넷만 주대로 왔어. 자자 되게 매워야 가도 네가 걸어. 걸어. 그것도 말아.
So therefore, you need the wealth, right? You need the money, you need wealth to do the practice, right? Like that. And then also, like the internet, is a what, object of desire? Yeah, it's like, because you desire for it and then you created it, right? So it's an object of desire. But because of that, then it benefits, it can help, people a lot. So now like this, so there are less people in person and more people online. So it's benefiting more people, through the internet. So it's good also. It's good also.
제가 센터에서 팽겨도 내가 팽겨도.
So these things, of course, they benefit in this life, and they benefit temporarily. They benefit.
이나 다내 장장을 제왕하는 좋아했나? 개와시만 팽절에 팽 말이지.
So though it benefits in this life, but if you just go on that, just if you just follow that, that will be only benefit you for this life. It will not benefit you in the future lives.
Okay. Tenere ko na ringi de okay. First
Can you understand like that?
tenere ko na to deeper.
Does that make sense? Like,
gawa me oro yong de.
so if you think in that way, then do you think there's no contradictory in what is said here?
There's no contradictory in the text for me. But even for me, even this life, the desire to have a heat, that, so we need to be healthy because we have a desire, we get heat. And that's a good thing. But like now, my place I stay, there's no hot shower. So when I don't have a hot shower, I get angry because I am attached to the hot shower because it's the desire to have a hot shower, and I had hot shower all my life, and now I don't have it, and I can see my mind goes, oh my, I'm attached to my hot shower. And then my affliction comes up when I can have it. So
You can come here to take shower.
but anyway, but the samsaric pleasure is it's cultivating the craving attachment because it's a temporary happiness. Even the heat, even the hot water, it's a temporary happiness. It doesn't matter.
제가 데려가서 그다음 남자도 말했어. 너베게 예들 가세지 롱셔바이나 다 틈소 다 득섬시는 요 말했어.
그래서 디세도 풍로 풍고래서 아마죠. 내가 풍고래서 말.
네, 일단 풀을 패가 말했어. 내가 풍을 이렇게 말다.
풍로 풍고래서.
풍을 다 패가 말했어. 대만 제가 슉 첨부 저번에 풍고래서.
So if you follow the objects of the desire, and it will lead, then it will lead to ruin. Means like in the long run, and maybe in the temporarily, at the moment, maybe it might benefit. But if you keep on just following that, and in the long run, and in the future lives, it will ruin you.
제가 나도 다른 내외에 연락 가서 주자로 연락 롱 가서 되셔나 다른 데서 다시 하면서 지금 말고 가서 롱 쉬어봐야 돼 양평 때
So no matter how much how much you use the object of the desire, right? The desire object of the senses, right? Like the things that you see, things that you eat, things that you taste, and the smell and so forth. No matter how much you use, you never get satisfied. You want to always have more and more of it.
Okay.
Vishla, can I have a question? This is Angie. Sorry.
I can see, yeah.
Yeah, I just have a question. You just mentioned the example about the like internet, right? All object, what any object can be an example that we can discuss. But for me, it's like those are like very neutral. It's just like in relationship to your mind. For example, like some like a new technology coming to the world, and there were some young people, they were just like chasing around, like those kind of different new technology. But for some people, they just like they live in their own era. They just don't really care about. They don't ride with the new trend or whatever. They stay where they are. So it's about everything is like, to me, it's like the object is neutral. It depends on how you respond to it. And even you do good things, it's still, it's just like very natural. Like you just look at the cause condition and always try your best, right? And so you don't have any, you have a good wishes to help, but you don't have the goal, or you say you have to make it for something, so you won't feel like if you don't make it or whatever. So yeah, I mean, just like, because you talk about a desire. So I'm just wondering if someone they live in this world, but his mind is not in this world. I don't know if it get a point, but I do see some books and saying the face, something like that. So yeah. So you're pretty clear what is going on for those objects or whatever in the world, and you still use it, but because you're human being, so you need to use that, but you don't project a lot of, your feeling. For example, like smell, you like something like a rose, like smell like a rose or whatever, and you just like have a preference for that, But once you are clear and this is a familiar and this is illusion, so you don't and you understand that, so you just feel okay, then you won't be like before, like you're so attached to certain like smell you prefer, or you don't like the smell and you make you very angry like that. That's my thought. I don't know. Yeah.
That's the answer to your question. You said the object is that.
Sure, my thoughts. Yeah. Sorry.
Well, if something has to be bad, it has to be the object. But yeah, the object is neutral.
이렇게 전화같이 뭐라고 단념라.
이걸 따면 이걸 하는 말이야. 나그 이제 강압 소셜을.
No, we're not saying that internet is bad, or anything is bad. The object itself is neutral. It's that the object is there, but your mind, the liking it and chasing after it, going after it, that's bad. That's what it is.
Exactly.
So the
Object is okay.
And
The
desire
is bad.
neutral, but it's just going where the intent
Desire is
is.
not neutral, it's afflicted
Desire
mind.
is
Jesus most
Bliss, bliss. Okay, well,
Don't go that way. Don't go that way.
it's a
This is different.
proven fact.
But we're not talking about that, Mark.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Fact, F-A-C-T. All action is by desire. If they have drugs like depression, you have no desire, you're flat affect. They call it. You do nothing. So my point is.
Okay, all the medicine is good. Say yes, no.
If it's no,
There-
too little
there's
is no
no
good,
right.
too much
Okay.
is no good. It's
There
right.
is- we need medicine, but the old medicine are not good. That's why you say desire means just a whole much. Don't like desire means all the develop for delusions.
Can we be clear?
Those desire is not good because they bring more.
Yeah, but the word. Then what do you call it when you have a feeling to do something? What's that word?
This is also desire.
That's a desire.
So then.
But it's afflicted. So we're talking about.
Well,
So
what is
it's
it
all desire afflicted.
No. So, but what is the desire to do? What kind of work and the thing that you want to do? Is it a good thing or bad thing? So, desire for a good
Right,
thing.
that's what I said. It's
Desire for a good
yeah.
thing is good, but desire for bad thing is bad.
Are we talking about the mental factor of attachment?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is one of the 6 root delusions.
Six
Yeah,
resolutions.
So
Yeah.
is necessarily.
It talk about
So, you're talking about the bad desire.
bad desire, not all the desires. Can you clean that? Bodhisattva, Bodhicitta also like desire. It's not really what we talk about the like desire. I want to, enlighten to benefit all mothers and think that.
Aspiration.
This is good.
That desire is good.
But our desires, this is my car,
Selfish desire.
this is my antics, this is my jackets, this is my
100
coat,
shirts.
100 shorts.
35 to be exact.
Because, example, I say you don't use more than 20, but you want to keep more. This is the desire. You don't want to give up. If you give up, you get unhappy. This is the problem. Your true desire, this is the problem. We don't say all the desire. We don't say desire that. But someone do it.
Not all the desires are bad.
Okay, don't bring
We're
together.
talking about the bad desires here.
like,
Like,
you like to sleep, right? You like to sleep all the night.
your
For the
desire
day,
to sleep.
you want to, do things nighttime. This is bad desire. You come from work, you sleep, then you get up 10, 11 o'clock, then you still, read the book something all night. This is bad desire, bad habit. Why? Because it makes you change your, dailies.
Yeah, I get it. My whole point is that desire itself is like an object. It's inherently neutral.
No.
It depends on if you're talking about, and Geshe has made clear that he's talking about the attachment. As,
Right, I said that last week. It's the attachment.
But that's what we're talking about. That's the desire we're talking about. So you can't say it's neutral. It's one of the afflicted mental factors.
Okay, now we understand that. Okay, think about that. This is, we have to also, I give you idea or the answer homo last night. Yes, let's look. Because you have to think about it. We say, oh, they're all bad. They don't no use. Then when we do all the war, what Bob mentioned, we need to think. But they're all bad. It's not like means that if you only touch that, it doesn't work for you in the future life. No, we need that. Okay?
So in So when Nagarjuna says leads to ruin, he's saying ultimately, like in the long term.
Yeah.
In the long run.
Okay, 다들 대인배 콜라야 슌주고 콘들이 열스와.
Yeah, so there's also quotation from a guide to the Buddhist way of life, which proves that.
제가 다 된리기 빼는 된리는 간지 내차시도 뜸고 되건 도바디가 온다서 와나 안에 쫙딱 짜고 봐지 종간을 주셔 그래서.
So if you follow those desires, and then those desires like the chain, that ties you in the prison of psychic system.
아니 대담 그래서.
And then it makes it tighter and tighter.
되게 째그래 또 그래.
Then that will cause you to suffer, that will cut you, that will tie you.
예. 오케이 다 되지. 다 된리기 콜라야 안에 슌주나 다 하나 송 그래서.
And then also it's the same thing like that in the guide to the Buddhist way of life.
아니 되게 도바디가 아니 내가 배가 말이 아니 겨우 심하게 배가 말이 바로 더 배가 말이.
So this desire, doesn't benefit us in this life or in the future lives.
이냐고 유샤가 됐어. 계속 유샤가 됐어.
That will plunge you or throw you in the cycle and in the lower realms.
다 간지자고 다 오늘 된리기 아니 너희를 마정한테 간지셔서나 아니 다 온보 주고 얘들 때못 체크 그래서 다 티쇼로 간지 잡지 생도.
And then not to follow these delusions or the desire, what you have to do, you have to keep your senses tight and controlled.
영문나다 술을 깨고 그래. 쫀 술을 그래서나. 같이 대로 강다 온보 주에 남란다. 다다 메테 요당 강다 지 영어자 소레제 대달레 캔놈 동보 나 빠르 라반세스나 강산 가시지 거디 연바나 아니 간지 레베게 이어 내차잖아 뜸무제다가 예라야 따드데 따드 차데 템보지네 텐바 마요지 되게 그래서 어다 텔 두자 그래서 텔파 ger마도지 텔파 ger마도 요마도지.
So that's what it said in it's saying in the verse 24. It says, when the wise compare those who conquer the six unstable and constantly wavering senses with those who triumph over enemy hosts in battle, they see the former are the great heroes.
제가 아니 따뜻하게 가지 딴데도 딴데 미세게 세워도 내 자식도 또뭐 콩으로 다 너무 제사가 이어들라 가디나 요대요 말이지. 텔 잡아치 그래서 배차잖아. 아니 가서 마로 그네 잡아나 다 밑에 잘라로. 이는 되게 잡대 아니 너무들 봐 잡아치 그래서.
So here, talking about that kind of mind, right? So the mind that causes, by following that, sense object, when you get the delusions like attachment, anger, and jealousy, and so forth, and then you have to control those, mind for following following those desired objects, right? So if you are able to so conquer that mind, from going or wavering around, then that is a greater hero than someone who kills many the people in the battle or in the fight.
Okay, any questions? Yes.
Well, even in this life, I mean, it makes sense to try to control our desire for sense objects, because it creates the habit, right? I mean, it isn't the way I think, Geshe, you said it is that this is vice is that for it leads to ruin in future lives, but would
Of course, we need to like they'll go there.
even
They'll
develop
go.
Baba
They'll they just to move some matter go.
Yeah, I mean, if you follow the sense objects, the object that creates delusions, then definitely even in this life it will be harmful to you.
Dinland that matter same tempo matter 다 가와는 그런 object system 돌아가는 도저 다티 아니 킬로레스 다 텔레파 잡아치고 디 오는 마로치고 그래서.
So this mind, wavering mind, so it's unstable. So the mind, and it's not stable, right? Not stable in one place, but just unstable and wavering around all the places. So that mind So you have to control the mind. So when you control that mind and bring it in one place, then you have conquered that unstable mind, the wavering mind. So so that's what it's saying. So if you do that, if you conquer that, then that is even better, a greater hero than someone who kills enemies in the battle.
Nandu yele kawaje nyomo yele jeko mato chuloga dala ta tundoso yale jiwa yele tundo kashi wa chiwando.
So what we have to conquer is to conquer the battle of the inner mind, battle in the inner mind, not the battle of the outside world. Even the animals are capable of doing that.
And singete sita sami be sujinengar sangite jodonde kenegero yele.
Like the lion, it says that it's the most powerful animal, right? Is that true? Do you consider that as?
Like that?
And that outshines all other animals?
Polar bear. Elephants are the strongest, they say. I mean, it's kind of.
Elephant is strongest.
Who's more powerful? Who can kill? Elephant can kill
The deadly
lion.
snake could kill them all with one bite.
That's true. Sangite se tongede tanga do ngwa tanda pele pewe she da sangite mutongo yo mars. Butuma se to res sangite.
Sangite, yeah.
Shema sumcho shlok ane tar da chik se to mar no leso ene meshi.
So in Tibet they're saying that the lion can be only killed by ants. Not other animals. No other animals can. None of the other animals can kill it. Kill the lion. Ant. Is that true?
And in the cool summons rulers. I don't know what Kusani specialist.
So the ant can enter into its body and then it will
the nest.
Kill it from inside.
Anyway, okay.
That's what I was saying. That's the saying in Tibet, but it's not really. Is it true or not? We don't know.
Ashologa Tangata Tatu Tandent, Sapshidoko. Tangatrini Tandepena. That Jabochana poem by that Pumuka Jumila and Chapatia Mares Kodeshe.
And then verse 25 and 26 is talking about not having attachment to the women, and by thinking about the bad qualities of the body of the woman.
Jada Jaboinza and it Japon Senala and over it, Tangimilusan, Senala and over it, and it does also Namilaka and over Bataneta, Timaches, Japola.
So, and so because he's a king, so it's advice to the king. So he's talking about the women, but it can be vice versa. So if you do because he's a king, so if he does that, then it will harm him, his reputation, his career and so forth.
And I show you a Pemic John Mambo Jenny at the Sonores.
So in order to give up that attachment to women, then he talks about all the impurities, the impure body of the woman.
And
so if it was, because it's said to the king, therefore it mentions about the woman. But if he was, taught to a woman, and then it can be, turn around and talk about all the impurities of the man's body.
Shedan Ninjiki Penata, Pupomo Chape and Devatazo, Tasuzu, Subu, Niba Zonichi Matoman, and Dova Tanjani Mares, Pechachana, and Subola Martin Pewachi, Mate was actually the Melatriad and Yoserva. The tropical pitch was in a 13 time with the Yoserva, in Masamachi.
So the desire, to have, to have the essential pleasure is like a what do you call that? Menji.
Tantine, somebody, Yabana, David on the Mela, no Quintin John, Shover Major Dead on that way, no
Subtle. So then it says, verse 25, so look at a beautiful woman's body, without any attractive embellishment. It has a foul odor. Filth is emitted from 9 orifices. It is like a pot full of garbages. It is hard to fill, and it is covered with skin. So, with a thing like that, then it says, 26 is know that someone desiring sense object is like leper tormented by maggots. and he resorts to using fire to find comfort, but there is no relief to be found.
제다테 아니 그래 무슨 소소 지워 남소 대자고 마다 맞게 버리고 그래서
And so you should not follow these desire sense objects like that.
다들 배나 단이 배나 너무 죽어나네 다 찍배로 찍 빼잖아.
So here it's just referring to the delusion, I mean the desire, right, of the six root delusions.
단데 손사가 예대 아니 부모지나 야다 보이견이나 손으로 봐.
So if it was taught to the woman, then it will be taught by explaining the force of the man's body.
제다는 탐도한테 시대형을 아니 남배 산지 좀 됐는데 바지 남바한테 봉을 막는 게 되셨어. 근데 들려야 다 남존하는 요만 누마들 시행들은 너무 좋냐 그래.
So there's the people then because it is usually it's taught in that way, and then they think that Buddhism doesn't like women. So it's not like that. It's just it depends on the disciple at that time. If the disciple was a man, then talks about the impurity of the woman's body. But if the disciple was a woman, then talk about the impurity of man's body.
제가 산지 남배 나라페나 아마서야 돼. 안게 담보쳐야 돼. 니제 제라 아마 그래서 아마라테 니제 제수에 되면은 요 말을 본보다 또 제샤.
And so because in Buddhism, the closest person that we talk about, is the mother. Right? So if because the mother is like the symbol of the compassion. So if there's no mother, then there will be no compassion. And also in Tibetan world, we have the messenger, ma. It's like mother. The mother senjin. We say mother senjin. We don't say father senjin. But there is a father senjin also, right?
제가 뱀뱀도 그냥 그 된데케자 말씩 지기잖아. 가마가도 이렇게 좀 말해.
So there's no discrimination in man and female.
아니 마음바지 깨워야 벌려면 남은 예대 제대로 두대로 제가 말해. 제로. 남은 제래 되나라. 깨워니 받 레벨. 깨워 그랬어. 분이 받으셔.
And then there's also that talks about
Get something?
The eight qualities of the of Prophet maneuver. Talk about being born as a man.
등도 선무도 안 되는데 시전에 몇 대도 빼나. 딱곰 실로라 다리가노 곰지 안 되잖아. 아니 지가로 변매는 얘가 차다. 볼래 네가 용어도.
So So like in some country, I mean, like especially in India at that time, right? At that time, in India, there was more danger, to a woman than to a man. So the women are targeted, to torture more than a man. So if you are born as a woman, then it will be difficult for you to do the practice. Like as a woman, you can't go by yourself. You can't go into the mountain by yourself and do practice. So then that distracts you. I mean, that disturbs you from doing your practice, right? This obstructs you from doing your practice. So therefore, it's considered as a what do you call it? Unfavorable thing at that time. And also there's like I don't know. I mean, it's really true or not, but in Dharamsala they have the retreat huts, where people go and do retreats, for a long time, like lifelong retreat or year-long retreat, like that, So, and many people they go and do retreat there. After they are finished studying, then they go and do retreat like that. And they're saying that there's a rumor that nuns, will go to retreat there. Then the Indian man will come and then disrobe them like that. So there's a rumor like that. I don't know if it's true or not, but so there's a risk like that.
In a time there's all kinds of nematene chore. Yando chame de melager. Tame. Tinala yanda, Pemel Matiola, Tejogalaya, and the chame de me by Indigala Jenga, Anijusa, and Pomujita. Think that what that chame them by Jeroma. They are always a mercy.
Then there's also the prayer to be born in the Sukhavati, in Nyingma tradition. So there's a prayer in Nyingma tradition that's prayer to be born in Sukhavati, and there was this Western woman who was translating it, and in that text also it says, may I not be born as a woman, and then when she saw that, I said, oh, this is not, I want to translate anymore. So then she stopped translating.
Okay, like the name. Kata ta what you talk about. And those you tell you come japsho. Ta ngoni de cha shi da tumu kan je ongbo ye. Ani nyomo che sa go yela yo na kyo de mu te ta go da. Data ne tengone nga zu chi tela ya neba nyeba na nga zu cha ne de sha da kono so chong ro so re.
Again, it's important to check your mind whether wavering, toward the objects, desired objects, and will, bring problems or not. You have to check that. When you really understand that, when you gain not just understanding but gain experience and ascertainment on that, then that will really help you to have less desires, and other delusions as well.
I one story. I just saw a couple days ago to someone interviewed one lady, Tibetan lady. She was married with an Indian person. Then they all got divorced. Also, she had 3 children. Then when they married, also he booked a hotel room. The accounts both together. He mistake the account come to her. Then she thought we go to that. She go that. She stayed with another lady. Then coming back, then he kick out her and 3 children. She kick out. She have no place to go. No, any place. She stays sometimes in the parking lot. A lot of difficult times. Anyway, like that. Then one day the guy also had lost job. He do also some legal things. He lost job. He become beggar. Then he come back to her, but they're not husband and wife. But he said he won't come back to because his children's. Then she said, okay, come back, children's. Then one day she has Indian tradition. The ladies have a lot of jewelries. And he just completely broken. One day she go out, come back. He's looking all her doors. He asked her what the jewelries. She says she already sold because she have no money. And he bring the knife to chase her. Then she run away. Then she called the police. The police come. Then police talk with them. Then one police come back and say, maybe he have some mental problem. They ask her. She said she didn't know she had a mental problem. Then they took him to police jail. Then one day her friend called her. Your husband has a mental problem. Then history, he has really a mental problem. A moment that she said her anger is gone. Before she thought he's a bad person, he do all the things. The moment, he has a mental problem. She's automatic in the automatic. This is how power if you know the reality. Does it make sense? Mm-hmm. Right? This is not, we just not story some long. She's just exactly, it's not just her story, everyone knows that. This is how the power, before she thought he's a bad person. The moment she really found he has a mental problem, he has history that she didn't know even they met it. He has a mental problem. Then she said, automatically, sure, under the God. Therefore, we purposely found that the illusion mind or is it semioa?
Wavering mind.
Wavering minds. The problem for the wavering mind, the problem for the desire. If you really find that, you don't follow that. If you don't follow that, you become more comfortable. This is like we need like this kind of something to not say that, or maybe like that, maybe really like that. Therefore, next couple of days to meditation and desire minds, how they bring to the all the delusions and unhappy feeling. Okay? Mark doesn't believe he just the object's problem, desire's good.
Actually, I changed it. I didn't.
Oh, you changed it?
No, I didn't explain it exactly the way I wanted, but the desire is neutral but the desire propels you to get a positive feeling. That's what I'm saying. That positive energy, that positive feeling. Of course, yes, you 100%. That's what
Okay, this is a little
is
better.
healthy.
That's a little better, yeah.
That's healthy?
No, feeling just bad is.
That's what you said, that's healthy? Is like constantly like chasing after good feelings?
No, no. I said go right to the good feeling. I said that from square
You're still
one.
chasing good feelings.
You're creating good feelings.
But even like they talk about the beings in the form and formless realms who are attached to, they have no objects. They're just in like meditative absorption, chasing good feelings.
So
But-
when you're
and that's still samsara.
so in nirvana, is it a good feeling or a bad feeling?
But you're just saying in general,
Okay,
so
but
chasing good
Take
feelings.
it to its logical conclusion. So when you reach full enlightenment, are you doing it to feel good or bad?
We're doing it to benefit others.
Well, that sounds nice.
About Rika, you don't have any something?
Suggestion?
You don't have any suggestion?
Suggestion to Mark?
Yeah.
Or anything?
Any suggestion
You
or?
thought about what Bart said and what Jen said?
Yeah, I think Geshe mentioned that to meditate next couple of days. I think it's a great idea, meditating on the samsaric pleasure and the truth of suffering.
배는 근조 배는 세리비가 다시 셔딩 가도 때문에 동의로 와. 동의로 와. 당 아주 너도 민 토하면 다 샘랑이 건 게와 유수도 되고.
So what the scientists know when they do the test, right? They can when they analyze, when they check the things, right? You can see it, yeah, you see it, right? But these things you can't see. That you just check it with your mind, with your thoughts,
냠용토네.
and through your experience or through your practice.
Okay. Now I can say, I can give you one example. 수수 배는 너봐. 수수 시가, 수수 너봐. 대 가서 슈 채워드림 안에 잠으로 마음 그래.
So like your desire, right? So more you have your desire, what kind of any kind of desire. Like usually, when you talk about the regular person, right? The regular person's desire, right? So when you say regular person's desire, that's mostly the bad desire. Right? So more you have that, more problem you get, right?
Oh yeah.
그래서 내 배는 내려오나 딱내 강하려고 따다 내 차지 강조 따다 이 삼가데 내가 슈치 뭐 요하나 요라데 사요.
So if you have a strong view of yourself, right? So like in a strong opinion of yourself, like, oh, what I'm thinking is right, what I'm saying is right, what I'm doing is right, like that. If you think of that way, that way, then how you get into more problems.
그래서 나 미참이 죽하는 얘기 말어.
Because not everybody will listen to what you think is right, right?
나 많이 말해 저런 건 내가 말어 나도 수준 내가 말어 나도 기분 못 장도.
So when they don't listen to you, then that so that then it becomes like not fulfilling your desire. Your desire is for them to listen to you, right? So when they don't listen to you, then your desire doesn't come true, right? Your desire, your wish, your desire doesn't come true, and then when that doesn't come true, then you become upset or angry.
Okay, 단 네가 너한테 다 좋더니 거거든.
So that is the kind of desire that we're talking about here.
다 근데 내 무척 막 가시는 공자도 삼다다.
So is it like that or not? You can think about it and meditate.
어째 공자 되는 건데 이거 아니야. 아, 당연히 저래 넣어서 가서 담보 네 리카페 가로 지를 또 따고 싶지 뭐야. 뭐 공자네. 아니 제대로 라이드 따다리는 뭔지 번지도.
So before, when we talk about the
feeling.
pleasure, I mean the good feeling of fishing, is the result of the positive karma, right?
Yeah.
And then the Rika said, no, it cannot be like that. Then later she went and she meditated and she thought about it. And then she said, oh yeah. Then she agreed. So like that, you should go back and meditate.
제가 단다 법 라나지랑 아주 셔다가 뒤에서 고글에다야 대추벌 차다 봐야나 다디 불은 역시 그래서.
So yeah, in a short time, you need those things like Bob said, about heat and house and all these things. But if you are attached to those things, then in the long run, it will ruin you. It will ruin.
No, I get all that part.
Jennifer and Mark have more discussion, okay?
So in other words, to achieve what desire seeks, right? Bliss or a good feeling, is it necessary to have an object?
너가 그럼 재미있어도 먼저 율고를 했어.
Yeah, 요즘에는 누가 생각해요?
So if you don't have the object, then how will you be able to, have the wish? What are you wishing for, right? What is your desire for? So that's the object.
So you're saying that
배차시나 배나 신의 그만다 담 신의
뭐라 더 되나? 뭐라 더 보이나? 뭐라 더 율더라.
뭐라 저랑 뭐라 싸우거나 뭐라 라와도 좀 되었습니다.
So you can't have the desire without an object. Desire, right? So desire means like you want to have something. So what is that thing that you want? That's the object. Like if you desire for a car is the object.
Desire a certain mental state.
Yeah, that's the object.
So that's considered an object.
Like have a bliss. Like if you desire for bliss, the bliss is the object.
I want to happy
if you
feeling.
desire for bliss, right? You desire for a peace of mind. Peace of mind is the object.
Okay. Yes.
May I ask one question, Geshe? Following up on that discussion that we were having about,
not finished yet.
just
Okay.
about how a non-virtuous activity can be the condition for the ripening of a virtuous karma. Okay, so let's say you were going to engage in some non-virtue because you thought that it was going to give you pleasure. Could you instead say, okay, that pleasure, that's from past positive actions. Could you instead dedicate that and
대대처는 저는 거는 대화 토크에 말했어.
before you?
자, 대화 토크를 써보자. 대화 토크에 말하래. 요모째기 들고 몰라야 다 돼.
뭐 뒷번째네. 뒷번이 괜찮네. 대화 토크 줘라. 뒷번 괜찮네. 대화 토크 벌었어. 뒷번이 나타나 냐세기 다 뒷번아. 냐세기 전에다 냐세기 대화도 벌다. 냐세기 대화디 냐세모라 들어봐라.
되네.
냐세버디 뒷번아다. 뒷번이 나라다 대화 괜찮지 벌었어.
대화도 저렇게 가오셨어.
So dedicate for what? Like instead of going to the fishing, you just dedicate.
Let's just say you thought like, oh, this is going to make me feel going fishing, but you're like, you just use up that positive karma, doing a negative activity and create non-virtue. Before you engaged in it, could you say, okay, well, instead I will dedicate that, if that to say enlightenment or to some.
Then you don't engage in the negative karma.
Right, and you would refrain because you're about to get that.
근데 그런 어쨌든 야세 가든지 파지요 말인데 지금. 그때가 산제도 패션배 딱 개베션 선반도 있나?
다들 야세대 하고 말씀을 그것도 아까 그런 맞지기.
아까 그런 뭐지? 그 야세대 어떻게 대화든가 이렇게 지금 파지요 말다.
Yeah, so a person who knows the killing fish is bad.
Yeah, they wouldn't
even enjoy that, right? They wouldn't experience the bliss of fishing.
For this, then.
Yeah.
No, that's that they wouldn't enjoy they wouldn't enjoy the fishing, right? So the bliss, the enjoyment of the fishing will not come to them if they think fishing is bad.
Well, let's just say you're right. So that was the bad example, but let's just say it's something like eating ice cream, though. You associated that with a pleasure instead of it saying, no, I'm going to dedicate that.
I don't know. You can.
But I see
you
what you're saying.
You can say that. I wish for everyone to get like this ice cream. You can think like that way.
But then you could not have the ice cream because that would be the ripening of the.
You can eat that. Still, you can go. Dedicate the girl. Yeah, mucho oro. Then that we want shows. You want to chamaros. Te maragan sola.
So you can enjoy the ice cream and then dedicate, the same. I mean, then wish for them to enjoy. So imagine that they're enjoying with you also.
But
the ice cream is how
could
what camera. Could cross say YouTube take shower chubot could never sang morena. That tell the young never moves us. And ice cream sasamaji. Sazimeva Kumajan that into Moscow.
So like eating ice cream itself is not bad, right? Like it's not like a fishing. where you're killed, right?
Yeah.
Eating ice cream doesn't kill anybody. But of course, in order to eat ice cream, then also if you don't, you cannot afford ice cream. You want to have ice cream, but you don't have money. Then you go and steal the money, to eat ice cream. Then eating that ice cream, led you to do the negative karma, right? But if you can just eat it without, creating negative karma, and that eating itself is not bad.
But we're not saying about the action about bad. It's the ripening of the past virtuous action that ripens into a good feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So you expect that from the ice cream. You expect to have that good feeling from the ice cream, right? So, but if you have it, then you've just exhausted that karma. So it's gone. There's nothing to dedicate. I'm just saying before you had the ice cream, you say, okay, instead of having the ice cream, I dedicate that.
The ice cream, sana ice cream serve the ojoro. But then the manyon the ice cream masakola. And the ice cream sanya dewache, and the ice cream sanya dewa kapsatene. Ice cream sana the ice cream saagi, because the dewa nyua ngema gawach sashara, the dodores. And this sasana sares, and the chaya manas. And then massage it, and the kola, and the gawa de kongogi lavana.
What do you think, Bob?
I was just thinking, don't we just dedicate all past, present, and future virtue for the enlightenment of all sentient beings?
It's just easy, okay?
But then why?
Don't look at it.
If that were true, how can they ripen in these other ways? Like, for instance,
Because there's no rapper, the happiness what they want to rapper, what the conditions they bring just,
But the past non-virtue ripens in happiness and fishing.
But they just conditioned with a different karma. The happiness is a different karma, but the fishy karma is a different karma. But they just conditioned to rap.
Well, yeah. But I see that the fishing creates different karma, but that happiness.
So you can dedicate your merit, right?
Yeah.
For anything, for any virtuous action that you create, you can dedicate that for enlightenment, right? So every action that you create, okay. So let's say you create every virtuous action that you created in this life, you dedicate for enlightenment.
Mm-hmm.
So that so then in next life, what are you going to be born as?
What are you going to be born if
you because you dedicated everything for enlightenment, right?
Yeah.
So what are you going to be born as?
You don't have any leftover.
In next life, what are you going to be born as?
You could be born in a.
You can be born as a human being, right? You can still be born as a human being.
You can still be born.
Yeah. So like that,
Yeah.
So you have dedicated that merit for enlightenment, but you can still be born as a human being. So you see that?
Yeah.
So if you dedicate merit for the enlightenment, from that, every happiness will come from that.
Okay.
The human happiness, next step.
The ice cream.
No, including this, exactly.
Yeah.
Everything can come from that. So you don't have to.
I see.
So all the good karma, all the good results come from that action.
I see.
And that action of dedicating, for the enlightenment.
I see.
So it'll never be exhausted. So you don't have to worry about
that. Okay, now we finish. Now we stop. Sorry, guys. We just talked too much. I think you guys have to come to one day have to debate. Especially Mark and Jennifer, they like to debate.
I talk too much. I'll just keep my mouth shut.
It's good to know some discussions. Good to talk to bring. I just talk to you. Mark become Philip. Okay, sure, pray. Thank you.
39 for the Thanksgiving mandala offering. Saji Parki Shushin Dekaka Rivale Shin Dekan Padi Sanje Shindu Mite Guaki Roku Namda Jingla Tripasho Jetsu Name Kute Ratin Chen Karnatin Metro Jungi Pada Dosan Tempe Drumi Sasungi Drome Moso Tatu Niguchi Nidam Guru Rabam Page 43. In that snow mountain encircled land, source of every benefit and joy, may Lord Tenzin Gyatso Chenrezig remain in life till samsara's end. Savior of the snowland teachings and transmigratory beings who extensively clarify the path that unifies emptiness and compassion, to the lotus in the hand, Lord Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be fulfilled. Page 49. You who uphold the subduers from away, who serve the monk of all, sustain, preserving, and spreading my goodness, victorious prophet, who masterfully accomplish magnificent prayers honoring the three jewels, Savior of myself and others, your disciples, please return swiftly. Page 57. Through this virtue may I swiftly, having gained Guru Buddhist state, place each and every sentient being without exception in that state. Precious supreme Bodhi mind, may it where unborn arise, and where born never decline, but increase forevermore. Page 75.
Thank you, everyone. Yangaram, Kira, Morni, Mary, Deborah,
Thank
King,
you.
Lisa,
Thank you. Good night.
Night.
Angela. You still there?
Good night, Geshe-la. Thank you.
Good night. Think about it, okay? No, just don't put away your book. Just read a couple more times.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, good night.
Night.